Oh, that's a good way of starting that. That's a good way of starting. Hopefully that's not too loud. I'll lower it down just a tad. Oh. Cool. Boom. There he is. Oh, what's going on? What's happened? He's got some sort of ponytail in his beard going on. What's happening? What's happening here? What's happened? Tidied up a little. He's tidied himself up a little. I'm gonna pull that thing. Look, I'll do it for you, mate. Look. There, mate. There you go. Do someone in with that. Just do him in. Do him in, mate. Do him in. Beautiful stuff. Hello to everybody on YouTube. Hello. Thank you for watching this Resident Evil tier list. And we're going to start by saying that, yeah, Resident Evil 1, without a doubt, S tier. And the reason that is S tier is because, like I said, without Resident Evil 1, there is no Resident Evil series, regardless of the acting, the voice acting, the cutscenes, the whatever it is. Soundtrack, you know. There you go, a bit of yawn for you. But, yeah, without Resident Evil 1, there is no Resident Evil series, so, you know, thank God we got that. So I think, what's there more to say about that? Hello, cat, you alright? Just in time, just started. But, yeah, just, cat's happy, good, Kratos. But yeah, so Resident Evil 1, definitely is the epitome. And RE1 is S rank, 100%, 100% S rank, there's no question about it. Resident Evil 2 Original, where is it? There it is. Resident Evil 2 Original took the first game and span it into a tornado of excellence and just set the standard. Created probably one of the most iconic voice actors in the world, Paul Haddad, may he rest in peace. They basically created a cast of voice actors and it set the standard for survival horror down the road, and every other game company out there and every other company that wanted to create a survival horror game looked at Resident Evil 2 and thought, they've done it. Capcom have done it. They've taken the market and they've just totally owned it, and that's what Resident Evil 2 did. S tier. And there's not much more to say about Resident Evil 2 because it sets you up for, you know, just the rest of the OG series. You know what I mean? S being the best and D being crap. Yeah, nice. Wi-Fi. Hello, Wi-Fi. Kratos. My camera's gone again. Why does my camera keep doing this? Don't worry. I'll set it up. But yeah, so Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, S tier. There is no question or doubt in my mind that those games are S tier. It is impossible for them to be any lower than that. No one could ever. No one. If anyone says anything different, I'm happy. I'm happy for you to disagree. It's going good, Wi-Fi. How are you doing? I'm very good. Just doing a video tier list about Resident Evil when it's going on YouTube. So, hello YouTube. I don't know if you're seeing it in comment anything though, because all the comments are covered by the white background. Apologies. Right, so let's go on to obviously my personal favourite, Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3. Again, biased opinion, but it's S tier as far as I'm concerned. Why is it S tier? Well, because when you say Resident Evil, the majority of people think of him, Nemesis. He's literally one of the most iconic characters in the Resident Evil series. And until the remake come out, RE2 remake, Mr. X is now the most iconic because of the presence he's felt. He's just basically in the mind of all horror gamers. Tyrant is in the mind of horror gamers. When you think when a current Resident Evil player new to the series plays Resident Evil 2 remake, you think of Mr. X. You don't think of Nemesis. But for me personally, Nemesis has always been that character that's always defined the third game and the series up to a point, if you get me. So that's my personal opinion on that. 1, 2, and 3, S tier all the way. I think of Ruby when I see him. I think, oh mate, I don't think of Ruby. I don't think of Nemi when I see Ruby. I just think, oh, what's that cat doing here? State. But yeah, so that's that. That's Resident Evil 3. That's my Epsilon, my man. Short stream today, mate. Glad. How you doing? I'm doing a Resident Evil tier list, mate. We've only just started. As you can see here, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 are in the S tier. Yes, their PlayStation stream the next one. I know, I've got it. It's alright, Cat, don't worry. This is going on for about an hour. 9 o'clock, we're switching over to the PS5 reveal event. Hope you guys will stick around to check that out. Appreciate you guys coming in. Rosos. Welcome, Rosos, welcome. But yeah, so that's Resident Evil 3. Up there, S rank, 100%. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't manage to catch much of it, Epsilon. Apologies, mate. I was tired this morning. Hope it went well though. But yeah, so there's that. So now we're going to go to Resident Evil 4, wherever that may be. Where are you, Resi 4? Outbreak, oh, there it is. Idiot. Oh, it's the old case. Resident Evil. Oh, C rank. You say C rank, Moby. Why C rank? Let's hear your reason. I'm wondering if you don't agree with any of my choices, please tell me. I'd love to have a discussion. I'd love to have a discussion about it. I personally, Resident Evil 4 for me, it doesn't hold. I mean, I've watched a lot of people play it recently. Epsilon being one of them. He played it quite recently. He went for it fully, and I enjoyed him. I enjoyed him playing it. Ultimate went for it. I think I was going. I'm not sure if his Ultimate went for it. 4 is A rank, so we've got C and A. I mean, personally, like when I think of Resident Evil 4, what sticks up in my mind is the it's probably the wrong things. The wrong things stick in my mind when I think of Resi 4. I just think of like how shocked I was because when I was younger, when I played this, I never had the internet and I never had access to sort of like current events and current sort of things. I never knew Resi 4 was even out for the PlayStation until I heard it on the radio. So I've gone down and got Resi 4 and I'm expecting zombies. I see Leon, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be zombies. And I'm treated to Ganados. The virus change, controls are horrible, rank on a shoulder view, quick time events made, RE5, 6, 7, there were. So yeah, you're true, yeah, 4, they were decided to sort of step away from the pre-rendered backgrounds and tank controls and fixed camera angles to go for an over-the-shoulder view, setting the standard and the future for Resident Evil 5 and 6. You know, 4 was the catalyst of change, and 4 turned the series on its head and went in a completely different direction. But 4 was also born out of Devil May Cry. You know, they're building Devil May Cry, and he ended up with Resident Evil 4, and then another part of Resident Evil 4 went off to become Devil May Cry. So it's all a bit, you know. Let's rank the. I remember all the game mags and stuff when it revealed they were doing away with zombies, and it was huge. Yeah, it really changed the game. Now, I'm going to say this for Resident Evil 4. It did set a new standard. It brought new people into the franchise. It gave us a community. Without Resident Evil 4, there would be no community, I believe. I believe Resident Evil 4 was very, very impactful in what it did to the series. Yes, it changed it. Maybe for the worse, or maybe for the better, I don't know. But when I played it, I did enjoy it, and I did really enjoy it. And I would still play it to this day. So, I'm going to say, personally, for Resident Evil 4, B rank. I'm B ranking it because it doesn't hold the fondest of memories for me, but it was definitely what it did. Didn't achieve the level of it turned the series into something else. That's why it's not A. But it didn't do things so badly that it's lower than a B. It's there. It's in the middle. You know, it's between. The bosses made no sense. You go from a village to a castle, back to a village, and then into a laboratory. It just kind of like it was a bit of a mishmash of ideas. It was kind of like they didn't know where they wanted to go. So there's that. Alright, everyone's favourite. Resident Evil 5. Trolling a bit. Resident Evil 5. What do we say about this game that hasn't already been said 1,000 times or more? It's basically Resident Evil 4 but beef-caked. So take Resident Evil 4 and then inject tons and tons and tons of like silicone into it, and you've got Chris Redfield's arms. And you've got Sheva Alomar, a character who, let's be honest, like, she really isn't that impactful. You know, she was just there to assist Chris. We lost Jill. We lost any other character that could be meaningful in the series. She just came in. She was there as a two-player. She didn't offer anything to the game. You know, it was set in the location was great. I liked the village and the way it transformed into kind of like Wesker's laboratory and what it did. You had co-op for the first time properly in a Resident Evil title. But again, it's just a really, really beefed up and overcomplicated version of 4. You know. Hey, Nox, how you doing, man? Thank you for coming in, mate. Appreciate it, dude. Appreciate it. 5 is better than 4. Yeah, the more the games go, the less they say Resident Evil. I agree with that. But again, with 5, it did set another standard. It set that Resident Evil could be co-op. It could be multiplayer. They had the multiplayer. You know, it was a really shoddy multiplayer. But again, do I rate Resident Evil 4? I mean, sorry, not 4. Do I rate Resident Evil 5 higher than 4? I don't. I rate it as a C. And that's a fair rank, I think, for that. Because Resident Evil 5, why it may be not everyone's favourite or their cup of tea, if you get someone else on who loves Resident Evil and you're playing it together, it is good. It is good. It is good. That beard. Check the list. Nice, man. No worries, Nox. You crack on, mate. You crack on. Oh, really? Oh, awesome. Awesome. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Nice one. RE4 is top. Yeah. Yeah, RE4 is in the B rank. This is going up on YouTube, by the way, so you can always rewatch it. If you do miss the beginning, you want to watch it. But yeah, RE4 is sitting at B because I said, I'll briefly go over what I said. It did a lot for the series, but didn't do enough to rank, in my mind, enough to put it up there in the A rank or the S rank. It just didn't do enough for me. The base is a sister bound. Oh, what's his name? Darrow's Macalanian. Yeah, man. So yeah, rest of Resident Evil 5. That's my opinion on 5 C rank. Hey, Lou, what's that? You seem to have a rat hangling up. Rat tail. Oh, mate. It's a beautiful rat tail, man. It's gorgeous. Look at it. You want to touch it? How you doing, Growler, man? Right, we're going to jump over now to Resident Evil 6. Oof. Oof. Resident Evil 6. Now, this divides a lot of opinion. Again, good man. Glad you're good, man. Hope Sydney's well. 6 is better than 4. I enjoyed it. Now, 6. I haven't played 6 in a very, very long time. But luckily, I was able to watch the playthroughs again briefly, and some of them on Centipedia's channel. And I was watching her go through the franchise. Nice, man. Nice. Glad you got that tunage. Please, no. I'd rank 4 over 5. Co-op is fun, but the controls plus visuals aren't. It's just, yeah, I was saying Epsilon, it's just a big beefcake version of 4. 5 is just a big beefcake version. That's why you've got Chris Redfield's arms. But 6 again. So 6 again. Now 6 is what I think. 6 is like what 5 was. You suck away all that beefcake, and you just fill it back in with fluff, and a lot of fluff. Tons of characters that do not make any sense and do not need to be there and bring nothing to the story. Leon's partner, I don't remember her name. Unmemorable. Jake and Sherry. Okay, Sherry, cool. It's cool. Nice to see Sherry's all grown up and she's an agent now, and she's, you know, she's basically like Jilly. She's got the virus in her and she can adapt to it, which is cool. So that kind of sets tones. Jake is an awesome character, but again, he just appears out of nowhere. It's just Jake. There he is. Awesome. Hey, Nick, how you doing? Yeah, it's just a lot of it's a lot of fluff. You've taken out all that beefcake, all that thickness. Oh, Mr. Nox Gaming with the host. Thank you so much, Nox, man. I appreciate that, dude. You're a kind sir, gentleman and a scholar. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. But again, 6 is just another fluff piece. It's a fluff piece. It's there because here's 6. Here's a bunch of random dodge controls and mechanics. You can roll, you can dive, you can lie on your back. You can. The menu system is just like, it's trying to make a film, and then you got the enemies and just the whole. It was all over the place, to be honest. It was just everywhere. It was like they got 10 people in a room, and they made teams of 2. They made teams of 2, and everyone come back to the table with all these ideas, and they just picked the best 3. And they said, right, that'll do, and that'll do, and they put it all together, and all the extra stuff was just DLC. You know, that was it. It was just a DLC game with fluff. So unfortunately, now when I put this here, don't be mad, and I'm not putting this here because I believe it doesn't deserve. It doesn't. You know, I'm putting this here because I think it's not on the same level as the game I'm putting it next to. But it still did things. It's still playable, and it's not that trashy. It's still playable, but it's just a lot of fluff and a lot of can you be bothered to play it anymore. It's going C rank. Now, when I put something in D, you know I mean it's serious. When I put it in D, you know it's going to be serious now. I'm not just going to throw stuff in D and go, yeah, throw that in D. I love the Resident Evil series. D is the bin. Like, C is kind of like where the ball's on the rim and it's about to go. We don't know if it's going to go in or not. That's where it is. But 6 still has its place, unfortunately. I thought RE6 was bottom tier. Yeah, it's definitely got some bottom tier aspects to it, but it's 100% not. It's definitely not a D rank. I'm sorry, unfortunately. It still had things going for it. It did still have... It had Leon, we had older Sherry, we had Jake, which is a cool character. Chris, but I mean, he's really forgetful in 6. And so's Piers. Who's Piers when who's Leon's partner? Two characters that didn't need to be in it. So all you've got is Leon, Chris and Sherry. The only 3 you really need to care about. Jake, yeah, you can care about him, but where's he been since 6? He's been absolutely nowhere. So that's my opinion on 6. Not a popular. It won't be a popular one, but you've got to know that. Yes, Mr. Shaky Jake, yo, my man, how's it going, man? Good to see you, man. But that's my opinion on 6. I don't think it's by any means it should be D, but it definitely isn't any higher than that. Mr. Bean, Senpai, how are you, my friend? Look, I've got the Senpai beard going on like a ninja master. Boom. Let's go on to Resident Evil 7. Where are we? Resident Evil 7. Now, this game. This game. Resident Evil 7. What do we say about that? It did things to the series which, I'll be honest, right, here's my story about Resident Evil 7. This is my story about Resident Evil 7. Okay? I didn't play it for an entire year when it came out. I just totally ignored it. After 6, I was a bit disappointed. And I was like, I am just not playing 7. Forget it. First person is a fucking PT ripoff. They're just copying PT. But the developers at Capcom said that they had this in their mind before PT. Problem is, when you don't announce something and someone comes up with something like PT and then you drop Resi 7 and it looks like that, you're going to say PT clone. I'm sorry, but that's just that's my opinion. I'm sorry, but I play PT. It blew me away. I get Resi 7. I'm thinking, why did they're jumping on the hype train? I'm sorry. I know I love Resident Evil, but it felt like a hype train jump, and it's been pointed out that, yeah, of course, but you've got to forget that. Cut that away. As a game, does it stand up to the test? Do I enjoy it? I've completed it once. I like Jack. I like Ethan. I think he's actually quite a good character, to be fair. After you get out of the house and it goes outside and it starts going to that tanker ship, I'd rather just turn the game off, because that just, to me, just felt like a bunch of bullshit. You go to the tanker to discover that there's this girl who's able to get into the minds of people because she's a biological weapon. She can infect people's minds, control them, force them to do things, make them invincible, like unkillable, like they're molded. It's crazy. I don't know. And then, yeah, okay, cool. Let's say, I'm going to say this about another game later, but so you've got Resi 7, you've got all this stuff going on. Awesome. You've got old Raccoon City newspapers lying around talking about Raccoon City. You've got newspaper cuttings in the game. Then you've got people referencing Raccoon City. Raccoon City was ages ago. Raccoon City's finished, but it's still talking about Raccoon City. Why are we connecting 7 to 2 and 3? Why are we doing that connection? Because you need to do that connection in 7. You need to make that connection. You can't just make Resident Evil Biohazard and say, okay, this is basically a brand new series. We're starting again. Hit the reset button. Here's your new main character, Ethan. Here's your subplot characters, and then here's Chris Redfield right at the end, saving the day, looking like Wesker with blue umbrella. You know, I don't know. Like, I mean, what do you do in this situation? Do you just say, okay, yeah, cool, I'll pretend it's a Resident Evil title because it says Resident Evil on the tin, and there's no zombies in it. It's molded. You know, we've gone from zombies to Ganados to Ouroboros to molded. So now we just have to accept it. Swallow the pill, accept it. Cool, awesome. Let's just say that. Let's just say that Resident Evil 7. Oh, why did Bobby? Good to have you in, man. Good to have you here, man. Appreciate it. But why? But where would I place Resident Evil 7 in my mind, in my tier list, in my own personal opinion? It's gonna be B. unfortunately, because again, same with 4. It's done things, great things, and the base, and 8's going to be pretty. 8 hopefully is going to be what 7 was becoming, and then it sort of just didn't become that. At the end, it became like an action shooter running for a ship with an SMG gun, blowing molded up, and then like, you know, cool, cut the ship out, and I would be happy. But because it did that, I'm kind of like, what am I getting here? And then you got the DLC with Chris, which was just a run and gunner, first person run and gunner. You know, I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that. You know, do I don't know. Again, Resi 4 was action survival, you know, and then Resident Evil 7 became a horror, but then it turned into action again. I don't know where we're going here. I don't know. It's kind of just it seemed like the room got smaller. Everyone was discussing everyone was discussing Resident Evil 6. They fired some people and they got down to a group of 4, and then they went away in teams of 2, came back and presented their ideas, and they went with this, but they threw a little bit of that in there. I don't know. It feels like it's still got the stink of 6 on it, but not enough to say it's worse. But it's definitely not anything higher than B for me personally. That's me personally. If you guys play it 30 to 40 times over, that's awesome. That's awesome. More props to you. For me, I could take it or leave it. I really couldn't. I really don't think about it. I don't think, oh, I need to play 7. I enjoy watching it. It's awesome. Jack's awesome. Ethan's cool. And that's about it. That's all I really remember from the game. I don't really remember anybody else. Jack and Ethan, the only 2 characters I really sort of was interested in. So that's my opinion on 7. Sorry about that. Unpopular. Okay, so let's get on to the remakes. Whew. Resident Evil 1 remake. Oh baby. Oh baby. I'm not even going to discuss it. I'm not even going to discuss this because we all know where this is going, don't we? S rank. Why S rank, you say? Because look at that fucking game. Look at how good it looked when that come out. Are you telling me that when that game hit GameCube and you're playing it and you thought, oh GameCube, and Resident Evil come out, and you're like, didn't your head explode? Didn't your head explode with like the light, the blue? I mean, and then the crimson heads, and it's like, why did you do this for 7? Or, you know, I mean, we could have done that for 7 easily. It wouldn't have been that bad. I don't know, sort this old bad boy camera out. Don't worry, when this goes on YouTube, I've got to do editing. I'm going to edit out all these camera shots, the really bad ones. Right, so that's 1. Resident Evil 1 remake. But Churojia doesn't. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's fair. A lot of people who come to the series now start with the remake because it's easy to pick them up because they're really beautiful to watch and to get into. Then you go back to the old school. And realise, holy hell, like, this is what it was and this is what it is. Look at RE1 OG, look at RE1 remake. Night and day. But without RE1 original, there would be no RE1 remake. And that's why they're both in S tier, and that's why that's my opinion on that. Resident Evil 2 remake, where are you? Where are you? Boom, there you are. Again, bearing in mind, okay, this I did mention this before when someone else did a tier list, and this is my opinion on it. Where are the B scenarios? Everything was so perfect, and then B scenarios, gone. Where is the B scenarios? Where are the B scenarios? Where are they? Gone are the B scenarios. They're gone. No spiders. I mean, I can't remember what else is not in this game. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, because of that one mistake, it's A rank. It did everything right, but that's why Resi 2 OG trumps it. Because when you play B scenario, you got alternate bosses, alternate routes, alternate puzzles, alternate landmarks, alternate conversations, alternate viewpoints, alternate endings. Tyrant was a beast. in the end of OG2. In Resi 2, very forgetful as far as I'm concerned. As soon as you get out of the RPD, who is Mr. X? Really, when you get out of the RPD, who is Mr. X? Up until the point where you see him again at the laboratory after you do the Ivy section. Who is he? Absolutely no. He's nobody. He's a nobody after the RPD. You know, a nobody. A nobody after the RPD. And then you couple that with the B scenarios, for me personally, it just dropped down. Hey, Protect. Thank you so much for the host, man. I really appreciate it. Oh man, I kind of went my own to myself. I've been with his game myself now. Oh, so I'd love to see your opinion on it, man. Thank you for coming in and chilling, man. Yeah, corridor's empty. Oh. Okay, now it's on the game. I thought it was me. Right. Okay, so So before we go on, Resident Evil 3 Remake isn't on here. I don't know why it's not on the tier list. I guess whoever made the tier list maker didn't put it on. But yeah, Resident Evil 3. That wasn't my one. Resident Evil 3 Remake. Yeah, wasn't. I mean, again, everyone shits on it. Everyone shits on it, like unbelievably hard. Lewis Jenkins. Yes, Glitchy, how you doing, my man? Good to see you, man. Resident Evil 3 Remake. Everybody shits on it. Why? Oh yeah, okay, I know why because I play Resi 3 OG like all the time. But why did they shit on Remake? Why did they shit on Resi 3 Remake? Because it's like taking a full-bodied, like just beautiful drink or just I don't know, just a cake. Take a cake and take out all these ingredients that make a cake, and then all you're left with is just sponge. You got sponge, and sometimes sponge tastes good, but you eat a few bites of it, and you're like, oh man, it's getting a bit much. I can't finish the rest of that sponge. But if you've got a cake with icing on, some filling, and someone has a slice, you have a cup of tea with a bit of cake. Generally, if you're from, well, I don't know, I think a cup of tea with a bit of cake, kind of the thing. Biscuits and tea, you know. Resi 3 Remake, it's like having a biscuit without tea, having a bit of cake without any icing or toppings or filling. It's just a bit of sponge, and it's a delicious sponge, but it does not have the filling. The filling is gone. The filling's been taken out, and we've been left with a sponge, and the sponge is Resident Evil 3 Remake. In my personal opinion, I platinumed it on PS4. I platinumed Resident Evil 3, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed going through it. But again, it's too easy to platinum. Once you know the route, you can do it in less than an hour. It's not exactly like a pie without the filling. Thank you, Everson. That's a good one. Like a pie without the filling. Apple pie with no apple like sauce in it. It's just apple chunks and pastry. It's just not good. Resi 3 Remake, even though it's not on here, I'll probably edit it in when I do the editing. It will be for me. It will be a C rank, unfortunately. It did things. It's done things. Again, it's not unmemorable, but again, it's not one that I would go off and say, okay, yeah, let's play Resi 3 Remake today, and you know, I wouldn't like sit there and go, oh, this is so enjoyable, you know. So yeah. So for me, Resi 3 Remake is definitely here. C rank for me. C rank. God, you know when I put stuff in D, it's serious. You know when I put stuff in D, it's gonna be fucking serious. Okay, right. Next one. Before we go on, before we carry on any further, the Jill actor exchange. I'm cool. I'm cool with Jill. I personally don't mind, to be honest. Chris is the one for me that's just gone through too many changes. The dude's had like 7 plastic surgeries. I don't know what's going on with him at the minute. He's kind of like, one minute he's like jacked, the next minute he's lost loads of weight, and now he's like really like, he just looks really strange. It looks really strange. Like there's just too many cooks, not enough chefs. Right, so Resident Evil 0. Now everyone who's familiar with me and my streams and has spoken to me on numerous occasions knows full well my feelings on this game. I hate it. But I love Resident Evil, but I hate 0. And you're thinking to yourself, Why, Lewis? Why do you hate Zero so much? What is the reason for this hatred? What is it that burns you so much? When I played Zero, it took me 6 hours. Actually, probably longer than that. It took me 6 and a bit hours. And it's probably because I haven't played it in so long. But, oh my god, I wasn't enjoying it. I really wasn't. It felt like a chore. It felt like a chore because Billy's boring. Rebecca's just... They didn't tie anything in. They didn't tie anything into the main story. You know, they only call the tyrants in a vat, and then he's fighting Rebecca, and then he fight him inside a sewage system plant, and he's gone. That's it. Goodbye, tyrant, or whoever that was, Tyrant Zero, whatever you want to call it. Goodbye. End of story. Very forgetful. What was the final boss? Is a leech. It was a giant leech made up of leeches. Billy just disappears into the sunset. Never to be heard from again. Unmemorable character. Boring. He's a boring character. He's got a tattoo in his arm. It's the only appealing thing about him. Rebecca. At least Rebecca has some longevity. At least she's got some great lines, and she, you know, everyone knows who Rebecca is as a character. You get again Billy's the fluff. Billy's the fluff. Hey, dollface. I mean, yeah. It's a watered down Carlos Oliveira. It's a watered down Carlos. And speaking of Carlos, he was great in the remake as well. 3. I'm sorry, but Resident Evil 0. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be harsh to it, but it's a C rank. It's a C rank. It's down there. I'm sorry. It's down there for me. It's not D, because again, Resident Evil 0 did things. It did things. It did really good stuff. Some of the enemy AI is awesome. The zombies look absolutely gorgeous. The enemies look gorgeous. But the gameplay, the hitboxes, the pain, I don't know, it just felt really... I felt ill. I felt ill playing it. I did feel ill playing it because it just wasn't good. Have you been fantasizing about? Yeah, exactly. It's just a Carlos, watered down Carlos. So next one. Let's go with... I don't know. I'm not really doing it. I was doing it in order. Now I'm like out of order. I don't know what's going on now. Let's go with Code Veronica. Woo. Okay, Code Veronica. Now I played Code Veronica recently. Went through it. The last bit annoyed me, but forget that, as my own fault. I should have used grenades. If you saw that playthrough, then you would know. But I'm going to do it again because I do want to play it again, and that's a good thing. If I want to play Resident Evil again, that's a good thing. And Code Veronica is the one I do want to play again because honestly, it is a good game. Wesker in it is awesome. Just, you know, Claire stands out really well. Wesker stands out. Steve, even though he's in it just for this, Steve's only in it because so they could get the T Veronica virus. That's the only reason Steve's there. He's not there for anything else. And he's one of those like, oh, Steve, you're dead. Oh, boo hoo. But Chris is cool. He looks like an upscaled version of his RE1 model. Just looks like a really upscaled version of that. And yeah, Code Veronica X, awesome, really awesome stuff. Yeah, looking father, and he's, you know, closes his eyes, but Code Veronica X, boom, going in the B rank. Good, it's good. That's a good. It's good. It's like if someone said to you, "What do you want to play, Resi 2 Remake or Code Veronica X?" You'd probably play Resi 2 Remake. You wouldn't play Code. You would play Code Veronica X, but you would play 2 Remake over it. You would play 2 Remake over it. Let's be. I mean, Resi 2 Remake has learnt from its history, and it did learn from Code Veronica X. Yes, Cat. Go on, Cat. Go on. I love it. Yeah, you expected it to be lower or higher? Meh, for me personally. Okay, that's fair. But again, like you say, Cat, would you play Resi 2 Remake over Code Veronica X? If someone said to you, here's both games, what looks more appealing to you? What looks more sort of like, ooh, you know a little bit about both. What would you play? Would you play 2 Remake or X? See, Moby play Alfred though. Again, Alfred, a good character. I forgot about Alfred, but you're right. Memorable character, very memorable, very cool. But again, Resi 2 Remake has done things that deserves its placement below S. So it's going to go there for me. I'm personally, and yeah, B for Code Veronica X. Next one. What we got next? Let's go with Outbreak. Now, watching people play this game is a lot of fun. If you've never played it yourself. You've never played it. Oh, that's fair, Cat. No, that's fine. That's fine, yeah. But I think if you go by judging gameplay, just say what looks more appealing. Yeah, so I was about to say that maybe as well. Yeah, so you play Outbreak. You watch Outbreak. It looks great. It looks like a fun multiplayer. You play Outbreak. If you've never played a Resident Evil game before, and someone says to you, "Yes, Jake, I'm doing PS5 event. When's it on?" One sec. Hold on. Ignore that. In fact, 20 minutes, mate. 20 minutes. As soon as it's on, 9 o'clock it starts. I'll be heading straight over there as soon as the tier list is done. But yeah, some of these games deserve an explanation. But yeah, like you said there, Baked Beans, Outbreak had potential. It had great levels, but it's flawed, and it's flawed because it's the first of its kind, and unfortunately was the last of its kind until Resistance. But again, Resistance is different. Resistance is an Outbreak. Resistance is a online, like 5-player multiplayer, 1 versus 4. You know, that's been done before, that concept, and Resistance copied it. And I didn't mind Resistance, to be honest. I don't mind Resistance. I think it's quite fun. But Outbreak, yeah, did it do anything for the series? Yeah, it did. It had mechanics in it that were really cool. The self-defense mechanic. The self-defense mechanic. When you get grabbed by a zombie, you push them off, shoot them in the head. Great mechanic. The whole kind of picking up items and using them on the fly, unlocking doors, those mechanics. And those mechanics have transcended through the games and made other games better, and they've learnt from that. So I believe Outbreak deserves to be in the B category. I believe it deserves to be in the B category because it has done things for the series, and yeah, it is fun to play, but you need to play these. You need to play these Resident Evils and all these ones up to it. You need to play these, because if you don't, and then you play this without it, you will struggle, you will die, and it will be unenjoyable, and you want to turn it off. It will not be fun. Again, Outbreak 2, wherever that is, there, same thing. It did things. It was memorable. You had things that you were. When someone says to you, "Where's all the other zombie things?" You've got zombie dogs and zombies, spiders, and all this other stuff, cockroaches and all the rest of it. But where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of it? And then you've got animals, like you see, yeah, maybe like you've got animals and stuff. It might, like I say, it might be meh. It might be meh. But you've got to admit that it did things. It kind of just. It flipped the switch on these things that people thought about. Think, what if there was a zombie tiger? What if there was a zombie elephant? What if there was a zombie bear? Okay, granted, not all of that was in it, but the virus did affect a lot of things, and that's why it was, you know, it had things in it. So again, it's next to Outbreak 1. Oh, we're getting more Raccoon. See locations, and we're back at the RPD lab. If you're not familiar with the areas, it's not for you. Exactly that. You need to be familiar with the games, familiar with the story, otherwise it's just an unenjoyable experience. Plus with the online fan servers now, it's enjoyable again. People do play it, and it's good fun to play together. So that's cool. Okay, Gun Survivor did nothing for the series. My beard tassels. Done nothing for the series. Done nothing for me. Has absolutely zero placement at all in any in my mind. I'll play it as a laugh, and I'd laugh at it, but I would never sit there and say this is a Resident Evil game. It is not a Resident Evil. No way. This is not a Resident Evil. This is just a joke. This is a joke. And here's a bit of history for you. I'll tell you this now. Resident Evil Gun Survivor, right, came out at the same time as Resident Evil Code Veronica did, around the same year. In the same year, a few months later, Code Veronica came out, and then I think it was Gun Survivor or the other way around, somewhere. Now just think about that. Look at Code Veronica, and then look at Gun Survivor. They came out at the same year. The same year. And I'll tell you something, the only reference that's in that game to do with anything in Resident Evil, oh, my good friend Leon Scott Kennedy asked me to investigate. That is it. That is the only link to any of these Resident Evil games. Alas, unfortunately, it is not for me. It is in the D. I'm sorry, but this game is not good. It has nothing to offer anybody. It does nothing for you. It is just utter boredom. It is boredom on the highest level. The bosses are boring. The whole thing is just boring. The characters are boring. They go nowhere. They mean nothing. I don't care for it. I play it and I'm like, where's all these characters in the S rank, the A rank, the B rank, the C rank? Where are they? They're not in this game. Why are they not in this game? Because it means nothing. Stupid plot, stupid game. And before we're on the subject of Gun Survivor, I'm not even going to explain why, but that's going there as well. And I played this the other day. It is the most awful game I have ever played. And it's not, and I don't care what anybody says. This is my opinion. I'm sorry if it's not agreeable. Play that game and you come back and tell me that's a good game. Because I played it, and I played it for about an hour. And I was sitting there thinking, what have I got myself into? What have I got myself into? It is the most awful game I have ever played. Ever. Nemesis is in it, right? But Steve and Claire are in it. Because it's a dream sequence. Oof. That's maybe if you enjoyed Survivor, all props to you, mate. I'd love to see you play it, mate. I would, but I'm telling you now, man, that game is not good in any sense of the word. Resident Evil 2 Gun Survivor 2. If anybody ever tells you, and take this from me, this is pure fact. If anybody ever tells you that game is canon and it means something, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. That game means nothing. Nemesis never met Claire. Nemesis never met Steve. And Nemesis, right? Here's an example. Here's an example. Yeah, exactly. She has a dream sequence of Nemesis that she doesn't know about. Chris never met Nemesis. He never met Nemesis. How could he tell Claire about Nemesis? You know. Here's another problem, right? When you play Gun Survivor 2, there's a time limit on the levels. A time limit. Here, get this. There's two of you. One controlled by AI, one controlled by you, right? If the time limit runs out, Nemesis is unleashed. Nemesis walks slower than Mr. X does in Resident Evil 2 Remake. He walks slower than he does in Resident Evil 2 OG. When he catches you, and that's if he catches you, instant one shot, dead. It's over. Game's finished. But if you have Steve up, or you're Claire, and if you're Steve, you have Claire up, and Nemesis catches your AI partner, pops them, the timer resets for a short period, and you get to survive a bit longer. They're like a human shield. Oh, and by the way, they do nothing. Guns make no sense. Damage is atrocious. The whole system's whack. It doesn't make any sense, and it has no connection to the Resident Evil universe whatsoever. It's a pile of shit, and it deserves to be in the D rank. And that's my opinion on it. It's a stain on the Resident Evil's history, as far as I'm concerned. Right, so now the Mercenaries 3D was basically the Mercenaries. It had its place. It was fun. C rank. That's all I can say about it. It's the Mercenaries. Resident Evil, the Mercenaries 3D. If you had a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy 3D, get it. It's fun. It's a fun game to play, but it's not one of those games that tell your friends go and play it. Because if you wanted to play that, you might as well play Resident Evil 5 or Resident Evil 6 or Resident Evil 3 Mercenaries mode or Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries mode. You might as well just play all those. That's for people who own a handheld system. That's not for any of these. This is for handheld, but it done better than what these two did, as far as I'm concerned. Didn't I stream that one? Yeah, I did. What a joke, right? What a mistake that was. I hated it. I tried getting into it, but I was just like, nah, this ain't working out. I stopped. Next, Gaiden. Again, C. And the reason it's in there because I'll be honest with you, it's there. It's Resident Evil. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just in C because I wouldn't pick up and play it when I've got these to play. You know, I play Gaiden just to show people who've never played it before. If someone said, "Oh, I've never played Resident Evil Gaiden," I say, "I'll show you." Then I'd play it, and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool." But why wouldn't I want to play it on the PS1 when I could play? You know, I said, "Well, if you've got a Game Boy Color, go for it. Play it." And they've done mods for this. They've done mods of Gaiden where you put Gaiden skin over the top of Resident Evil 1 OG skin. So you know, you can play it, but again, it's not up here. It's not here in the echelons. It's here, unfortunately. Come on, definite B. First time we got to play as Barry. Beans, I'll tell you something, mate. If you want to play as Barry, they've got a mod for you now in the Resident Evil 1 game. They've modded it so you can play as Barry He has his own story. He's got his own cutscenes. He's got his own text. Granted, there's no voice acting, but you can mod it and get Barry on the PC. So, yeah, that drops it down even further. So, but no, I appreciate that. I appreciate it, Beans. Yeah, cool. But right now, let's go to now. Why did he bite me? Mentioned this earlier. Hey, Ultimate, how you doing, man? Good to have you in, brother. Thank you so much for coming in. So here we have Resident Evil Dead Aim. You have to watch the mate. You have to watch the YouTube video, man. You have to watch the YouTube, mate. I can't go over it again. When it's on YouTube, you can watch it then, mate. Yeah, I mean, apart from, I mean, if we're looking at it from a technical aspect point, Beans, I can't really comment because I can't remember too much technically about it. But I remember it for the fact that I borrowed a Game Boy Color to play it, and then I was thinking, I could just play this on my PS1, you know. Resident Evil Dead Aim. I know Why Did Bite was in here earlier, and he was playing it the other day. I personally haven't played Gaiden in years. Me ranking this game would be extremely biased. I couldn't give it a fair ranking, and it is with that I can't rank Gaiden. Sorry, I can't rank Dead Aim because I haven't played it recently. It's been years since I played Dead Aim. Years. All I remember about Dead Aim is when you're on the ship at the end fighting the tyrant, and like it's on the stern. That's all I remember about it, and I enjoyed it. I finished it, so I must have enjoyed it. But I can't remember anything about it. It deserves another playthrough. I did see Why Did Bite Me playing it. It looked like a lot of fun. He knew what he was doing. It looked good. It did look good. But I can't judge it based on looks. I have to play. So unfortunately, I can't rank that. But, yeah. That deserves a playthrough, so I can't rank Dead Aim, unfortunately. Tentative rank. It needs to be played. It needs to be played to be ranked, unfortunately. Operation Raccoon City. I ain't gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen, I am not gonna lie, I really like this game. I really like Raccoon City. Yeah, it was poor, but I liked it because it was cheesy poor. But we've got to be fair here. I can't put a game in a high ranking because I enjoyed it. It's got to be fair. Personally, I recommend everybody who's never played this game to play it. Yeah, it's got some stuttering, it's got frame rate issues and that. But I recommend anybody who's never played Raccoon City play it because it is fun. It's cheesy. Yeah, I had issues. I think it was my computer, mate. It was my computer, man. I just couldn't handle it properly. But I had a lot of fun with this game. I really enjoyed it. Is it up on the upper echelons? It's not. The melee was cool, but the melee was just a system that was in other games for that. C, unfortunately. It's not up here. It's not up here. Dark Side Chronicles. This game did things for the Resident Evil franchise. You might think, well, it's a Gun Survivor game, Lewis. You'll just talk about Gun Survivor and 2 being trash. How can you rate this one any higher than those? I can rate it higher than those because it contained characters I cared about. It contained cutscenes reanimated and re-graphicked. It had enemies remapped and repurposed. It looked fucking good. This was the dream we had when we thought about Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake and Resident Evil 1 Remake. This was the dreams. We had dreams about this. How good this was. The retelling of Raccoon City in those lush, beautiful graphics. How good was that? This, if they make this at Capcom, they put it on the shelf and go, that was a pretty damn graphic Resident Evil we made there. It might have not been the full story, but them bosses look pretty damn sweet. Interesting. People want a Resident Evil 2 remake. Interesting. We've got these models here. Let's be honest, it did things for the series. It's going in the B rank. For the pure fact alone that I enjoyed it, and playing that game before this came out, playing that with those graphics and the way it looked, magnifique. Plus you got a bit of Wesker, which is pretty cool. Umbrella Chronicles, unfortunately, is a completely different story. It's basically a Wesker. It's a Wesker game. It's basically made. This one's made for Wesker. You're a fan of Wesker. Awesome. You love his character. Yes. You want to play as him? Play as him in this game. Did it do things for the series? No, it was Umbrella Chronicles. You know, I don't think it did things. Bosses were kind of, you know, like, I don't know. Is there any? I mean, yeah, it was fun, but it's only fun to a point. If I had a choice between playing as Leon and Claire, going through Raccoon City and Krauser, and him and Leon going on a mission, and him learning a bit more about Leon, and like sort of being jealous of his ability, and learning more about Krauser's mindset and his perceptions of life, and how he holds it against Leon as a grudge, and that bleeds into Resident Evil 4. I'm afraid that's a C rank, because that didn't contain anything for me that I felt would bring me back to it to play again. Yeah, maybe I will play him again. I'll definitely play this again, and I'll probably play this again. But it won't change my opinion that this game deserves to be here on this list. Like I say, about all these games here, they did things, they've done things, they make sense, but these are the game changers, these are the game breakers, these are the ones that have shaped the series to make, you know, they're shapers. About RE4 and B, I do like RE4, but I can't go over it again. Watch the YouTube. Watch it on YouTube, my friend. Revelations. Now, Mr. Epsilon Winter. This is where I come to you. This is where I come to you, Mr. Epsilon Winter, if you're still in chat. Who's currently playing Resident Evil Revelations. And I've been watching him. I played it recently as well, off stream. I played a little bit. Revelations, finding very fun. It's got interesting zombies, but I think I would have found it more scary most if there was more normal looking zombies instead of PG rated looking fish people. Zombies make sense. Thinking more, it would have been cool to have the ship, which is supposed to be in the style of 1920s, 30s Art Deco, more than a Raptor City from Bioshock style wise. So there's a lot of, again, like you say, there's styles clashes going on here. We've got Resident Evil in a very unusual location, in a very weird skin. It's Resident Evil Revelations, like as you say, is a BSSA mission gone wrong. That's what it is. It's like, here's a list of the missions you completed this year, BSSA, Operation Claire and Chris. If I said to you, do you need to play Revelations to play 5? No. Not going to say any more about the story of 5, because I know there might be people in here who have not played it. But you do not need to play Revelations to understand 5. Revelations is there because they made mistakes and they made Revelations, but it was based on BSSA missions. BSSA missions, I can't know what that bloody company is called. And then you've got characters in it that really just reek of just so cliche. So cliche. And the only one to save us is Jill and Chris. And the story's convoluted. There's a lot of mystery. And it's done like a US TV series. Previously on Resident Evil Revelations. Ooh. Yeah. Not for me. Good game. Did it change anything? Not really. Is it memorable? It wouldn't be the first Resident Evil I'd play. Therefore it goes C rank, unfortunately. For me. Personally. Resident Evil Revelations 2. Improved upon the first one massively. Massively improved upon it. Massively. One sec to check the time. 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, before the PS5 event. Resident Evil Revelations 2. Massive improvement. Complete style change. Complete style change. We've got Claire and Barry Burton's daughter teaming up. Who would have thunk it? Eh? Who would have thunk it? And you're on an island. Basically Rockfort Island again, Claire. Ooh, memories. And who comes to save her? It's not Chris this time. It's Barry Burton. And everyone loves Barry Burton. But what did it do anything for the series? Yeah, it did. It brought it back. It brought it back. It brought it back to the characters we know and love, and it threw a dash in there of history, being Barry's daughter, Moira. It made sense as well. It made sense, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Revelations 2. I really did. It felt tough. It played tough. It looked tough, and it was good. It was good characters, good story, multiple endings. everything you could want. Everything you could want in a Resident Evil franchise game. Let's go in B rank. Let's go in B rank. It took this game, threw a bit of spice on it, and brought it back into this category here, the mainline. And we come to the final piece of the puzzle. The online disaster. That was Resident Evil Umbrella Corps. This was going to take the esports world by storm. You had your Counter-Strikes. You had your Smash Brothers. You had your Team Fortress. You had your Quakes. You had your Unreal Tournaments. You had your Fortnites. You had it all. Then you've got Umbrella Corps. 4v4 multiplayer mass mayhem. Using zombies. Bleed out your... You've got zombie jammers on them. Take them out and the zombies will chase you. You've got enemies coming at you left and right. Capture the virus. Team deathmatch. VIP protection. You've got weaponry. You've got tactics. You've got melee weapons. You've got fucking 0 players. You've got servers with no one in them. You've got skins from the Resident Evil series. It lasted a week and it died a death. And I mean, turn it on if you don't believe me. Put this game in and download it for nothing. It's free at this point, I think. And play it. No one plays this game. If you do find a match, wow. Wow. I take my hats off to you. I tell you, that would get you 1 million views on YouTube. This game died a death. It did nothing. It did nothing for the series. It just sat there and did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. So, barring Dead Aim, which I have yet to play properly in a long time, and it deserves a playthrough, so that's on the list. That is my Resident Evil tier list. Subject to change, probably.